right, because it's continuing from the end of chapter 4.
There's no need to be afraid. It's gone.
I remember saving, but I don't remember starting the chapter.
It was nothing, really. I only did what anyone else would do.
Are you here by yourself?
I am. I saw the fighting and thought I could help.
You're braver than I am. I can't stand the corrupted. I was so startled I couldn't think. You really did save my life.
I see.
Oh, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm the Divine Dragon.
What a lovely name. I'm Vale.
Vale.
Might I interrupt?
What is it?
Even with the corrupted gone, it may not be safe for her out here. Perhaps we should escort her home, or to an inn.
That's a good idea. Hey, Vale, do you live around here? Huh? She's gone.
Divine One.
Saline, did you see a girl pass this way? Small, with long hair? Barefoot?
No, I'm afraid I didn't see anyone matching that description.
Okay, thanks. Did you need something?
I wanted to thank you. Alfred told me that you accepted Firene's request for aid, and your help in the battle was the difference between victory and defeat. Thank you. Truly.
Don't mention it. Alfred and I are friends. I was happy to help.
I probably should have tested this before stream, but apparently there are things that I need to do. I just restarted the game. I wanted to see if it helped. If not, because apparently I did not turn off my Switch yesterday when I probably should have turned it off. But for some reason it did not want it. But for some reason it didn't. I thought I did. But apparently not.
Fire Emblem Engage.
Did I not save? I'm positive I saved after I finished chapter 4. I did. Okay, let's skip this. I hope it doesn't skip the whole thing. Oh, it'd suck if it did. Okay.
You saved my...
It was not.
Are you...
I am.
I was...
I see.
Oh,
What a...
Vale.
Might I...
What is it?
Even with... Perhaps...
That's a good... Hey, Huh? She...
Divine...
Saline, did you see a girl?
No, I wanted to... Alfred told me that you accepted Firene's request for aid, and your help in the battle was the difference between victory and defeat. Thank
Your
you.
voice sounds
Truly.
different than yesterday,
mention
which I don't know if it's
Alfred
an
and I are
issue or
friends.
not.
I was happy
But
to
maybe
help.
that's just me.
Friends? He said that? Imagine speaking so casually with the Divine Dragon. Please, allow me to apologize on his behalf.
Yeah,
There's no need to put
please
me on a
don't.
pedestal. I just woke up, and the...
Is that so? I thought surely the divine dragon would be an all-seeing, all-powerful being.
Do you really think I
Here
want to
I
be
find
known
you
like
are
that
rather
though?
more
That doesn't
human
call
than I
smart.
expected.
That's not
Perhaps we
being
can be
smart. You
friends.
just pretend to be
What do you
dumb and
say,
you can skate
Sailor?
through life easy.
Friends?
I would be on.
I wholeheartedly want Alear to just be playing dumb. Would be awesome. Am I not in the thing? Am I not doing? No, okay, I am in the engage thing. But for some reason it's not showing me in the category. That's so lame. Show me in the category already, Twitch. Jesus. Twitch is not saying I'm live. Which is insane. That's actually terrible. Also, it's okay. I don't expect anyone to come in here anyway. It would be nice if people did, though. Oh, but that's actually insane. No, it's not even showing that I'm there. Feels bad, because if you click the engage thing on Twitch, it's just like, oh, this guy doesn't exist. Nice. I love it. Oh, there I am. I have to refresh 3 times. Great, I love it. Because that's fair and balanced for Twitch. Awesome. Cool. I now have 1 viewer, which is me, which is fair and balanced. Oh, God. I have to... Can I lower settings? That's fine. Fuck are you? It's a sheep. I would rather have the sheep over clam. Or clan.
Well. Ah.
What? I can't talk to the old man? That's sexist.
Thank you.
You know, at least they're... Do they look the same? No, they don't. At least they're somewhat... At least they're somewhat making everyone seem more or less different. Don't mind me just taking your oranges.
Ah.
Oh, they say multiple things.
All right.
That's
What?
interesting. If they wanted to make a game like Genshin Impact, they could have just done that, right? Because if hot take, this is very clearly inspired.
Really? Yes.
It looks nice, at the very least. Looks...
Yes. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yes.
So wait, I know how to raise the sheep, but I don't know how to raise the chicken. That's a little rough.
Oh.
That's a little insane. Do I have to talk to villagers to learn how to raise it? That'd be hilarious.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's because they leveled up.
Yes. Oh my.
Thank you.
I guess I still can't rip.
Yes.
Oh, plus is the menu. I'm pressing X to like go to the menu and it's just like, oh, I can't do that.
Hey, folks. Mind if we bend your ear a minute?
Why are you named?
Name's Sturton. I'm an armorer. And this here's Anis.
Oh,
purveyor of
you're our
goods. We saw
shopkeeper's
you trading
cool.
thumbs with those things. Figured you might...
Yes. If you need, we'd be happy to... Anything to defeat those creatures.
How would you feel about moving to our What? We don't have any facility.
You're gonna let us open shop?
If you'd like to. We'll need... It's a haven.
You got yourself a bargain.
Thank you for this.
Hey, we have money. Vander's just carrying 10,000 gold. Using the menu. Okay, interesting. So, could I zoom out? I can. Where are we? Okay, see where we are. I wish it would show us where we are on the map. That would have been nice. Let's buy some items if we can. Is this just supports but different?
It is good that we can talk.
Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, cool. I'll read them off stream because I would just rather not do it right now. Do you say anything unique?
Okay.
No. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm assuming those with blue bubbles say something important or something in general. A relative? So, Marth. Okay, cool.
I thank you. Now about the shop.
Alright, what do you got? What's this?
I thank
Yes.
you.
Because...
I thank you.
Yes. Pure poison. Pure water torch. I kind of want to buy the torch. We have tonics. Okay, cool. We can only buy one of each tonic. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Do come again.
So we can't tonic abuse infinitely, at least. Though you couldn't even in Fates.
Wow! So, about the armory.
You got 30 dodge? Okay, that's kind of insane, actually. Do I buy the javelin? I might grab the compact axe. Range 1, okay then. You can buy knives. I don't think anyone here I have can use knives yet. I can only be used in... Hit is infinite, so I'm assuming that's just an automatic hit. Which sounds interesting. It doesn't attack twice, okay. But it does more damage. It also has more weight. I'll buy one of these.
Take care.
Alright, what do you two have to say?
Thank you.
It's like this.
So we can go into the ring chamber now. Nice. SP, okay, that SP is skill points, great. I thought about it. But that makes sense. Okay, cool. Can't benefit from the same skill twice. If equipped while synced with Emblem Marth. I'll grab a Void plus 10. It's attack plus 2 at the cost of a Void minus 10. Immunity to freeze, alright. Oh, it's only 10%? I thought it was straight up counter. Okay, but it's not. That kinda sucks. What are your skills? Oh, that's kind of insane. Is this just gacha? There's no way. Tell me they didn't do this. Just polishing, dude.
Make it nice and shiny. You take excellent care of the ring.
Why is that a thing? I'm confused.
I hope you'll clean it well.
I'm confused why this is a
That
thing.
looks so much better. Thank you.
Why is this a thing?
This ring is filthy, don't you think? Thank you. Now I can stand by you with pride.
Okay, please tell me this isn't gacha, though. Oh, so it is gacha. Okay, great. That's terrible. I hate it. Thank you. I hate that. What are the chances I just ignore this and never use it? And I can't interact with these? Okay, fair enough. I want to skip all this slice of life stuff, but I don't know what I'm missing, right? let's see. You know what? Sure. Nice. So stable shrine and strength for training. Oh god, that was, oh no, that was terrible. No, not like this. Oh, the arena is still locked? Scam. I'm getting scammed, not like this. There's no reason to go to my room. There's no reason, I swear. Cool story, bro. There should be a Pegasus here. They're not showing the Pegasus? Damn, they're not even showing the Pegasus. I feel scammed. Let me skip your support first.
So.
What does this do?
Very nice.
What'll it be? How hard do you want to go?
Is it just a rhythm game? Or not a rhythm game, but it's just about timing.
Hang in there.
Oh, rip.
Keep it up. Nice. Keep it up. Looking good.
I can't tell if perfect is the gold or the dark.
Perfect.
It seems to be the dark.
Hang in there. Nice.
Okay, it seems to be the dark.
Looking good.
No, it's the gold only. Which makes sense.
Keep it up. Nice. You got this. Keep it up. Nice. Great job. I'm so proud.
Really? SS? Damn, that was terrible. I'll take it though. +2 strength?
Let's do this again sometime.
Sure. But why did you call Alfred over? Here. I thought you were the one who loved mussels. I feel a mysterious presence. What are the chances that's just keywords for DLC? I'm assuming this is also not worth it. Not open, I mean. Yeah, locked for now. Okay, cool. It doesn't need to do this every time. It really doesn't. Maybe a small notification, but it doesn't need to. Alright, who are you?
Oh my.
Ah, so you...
Vander?
Not much, unfortunately. Queen Lumera once claimed to have played...
She did? You know,
It seems to have taken a liking, if it is truly the Guardian.
What a great idea. Let's see.
Really? Okay. I'll just go. I'll just stay with default.
Yes, I like that name. It's nice to meet.
It looks well pleased. Don't forget to say hello.
What are the chances there was... Have a rare vegetable. They really went all out on this. Which is not bad per se. But it definitely feels like they're catering more and more towards newer folk rather than older folk. When I say older folk, I mean older Fire Emblem players. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because of course they want to make money and stuff, right? But the thing is, I can't just skip all of this, right? Because if I miss things, then it's just like there's the fear of missing out, and it's just like, what if it makes or breaks a run, you know?
Magnificent. Oh my.
Okay, I think that's everything. Actually, no, it's not. I didn't check the orchard. Yep. think that's everyone. How much... Can I check how many... How many bond crystals I have? I have 1,500. There it is. It was at the bottom. So can I just make 10 rings? Make 10 rings very easily right now. Just so I can give everyone a ring. So that they can earn skill points. I'll do Marth. Wow, it is just gacha. That's hilarious. I hate it. I hate it so much. That's terrible. That's actually just terrible. Oh, that's terrible. I swear. No, not like this, man. Does anyone give strength here? Just one magic? Does anyone here give defense? No, I guess not. You already have one. I'll give you speed. I'll give you Legion A. You already have one. You already have one. And then I cycled through everyone already, right? Yeah. Yeah, you already have. Cool. Yeah, everyone has a ring now. Cool. I also had... extra staff, right? Yeah. Did I buy an iron lance? I don't think so. I have a steel sword. I have a steel lance, a steel axe. Oh, there's a steel bow. And Surge. You can grab Surge. You can grab the steel axe. I'll give you the steel lance. And you can grab... Does anyone here use swords? No. Other than our main character? Yes, we do. We have... you. "45 minutes in, we're finally starting Chapter 5. Technically.
There's the castle.
It's so quiet. Where are our knights? Or the Illusian soldiers, for that matter?
You said they were marching toward the castle when you left. They've probably made their way inside.
But then, what of the townsfolk? What of Mother?
Let's hurry.
Hate to break it to you, Queenie, but our forces have taken the castle. This is the part where you tell me where you've got the ring stashed in here.
Who's to say?
Is it inside the castle? Out on the grounds? I'm asking all polite-like. Come on! Ugh.
I'm not in the habit of speaking to lowly vermin. That's all that you are, the lot of you.
The mouth on this one. You think I won't get you where you stand?
Surely you can make your villain slightly more creative. Nice hair clipping.
It, darling.
Lady Zephyr!
After all, Her Majesty can't tell us much of value if she's dead.
They made this and said it was okay.
One of our soldiers said he spotted the princess fleeing before we arrived. How curious. Did you perhaps give that daughter of yours the ring for safekeeping?
I can't take it seriously. I really can't.
Oh, well, isn't this tragic? We'd simply hate to resort to violence. You leave us no choice. By virtue of your silence, we will now kill every living soul in this castle one by one. Please, no!
Tell me this isn't protect green units. If it is, I'll be a little bit sad.
We're here! Alfred, Saline.
Oh, look. The kids are home.
You Illusian scum! Get away from her!
Who's going to make us? I'm glad you've come. Now we can see for ourselves if the princess has the ring.
No! Please! Leave my children alone!
Of course. As long as you tell me where the ring is. Ah, young Saline does have it, doesn't she? We'll have to kill her then. The prince too, for good measure. Take Her Majesty away. We'll continue our conversation later if need be.
Unhand me!
Mother! Let her go!
All right, enough with the dramatics.
Thank you. Someone's sensible here.
You look familiar. No, it couldn't be. Who are you?
I am the Divine Dragon.
Such lies. Lumera is the last of her kind.
Shows what you know. The Divine One was asleep for 1,000 years.
Really? When did that beastly woman have a child? Very well. Perhaps you can tell me what happened to dear Lumera then. I've been so worried about her since that awful battle at Lithos Castle.
How do you know about that?
How indeed.
You stole the rings? You killed my mother?
She died? Oh, that poor dear.
Murderer. I will avenge her.
Why, I didn't kill her. I will say your coming here was quite helpful. Assuming you are the beast's offspring. Because that means you have them, don't you? The rings of the Hero King and the Holy Knight.
You'll never take them. Never.
You were after our ring.
I won't waste my breath on explanations, but I will tell you this. The Kingdom of Illusia has freed Lord Sombron from his imprisonment.
The Fell Dragon has returned? No.
Of course, even we couldn't have accounted for... you. His return must have awoken you. Show a little gratitude.
You're wrong. I awoke because of my mother. Because she waited for me. All these years.
A touching tale, I'm sure. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Wait!
I definitely have to do a whole, hey, this is how they easily could have improved Engage's writing without changing the story at all. You know?
Get the rings. No prisoners.
I was hoping you'd say that.
What do you have, a vulnerary? Hold on, I can... Yeah, okay, this switches through enemy units. Wait, thief, where? Oh, there. Oh, there are chests over there. And then those are breakable walls. Okay, so there's a hallway here. Right? Also, are these emblem energies random? If the emblem energies are random, I hate that. Like, a lot. Like, that's terrible. I hate that. If it's not, then that's okay. Okay, so basically... Chances are... What's the thief's move for? It's 3. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have, this is 1 turn, this is 2 turns, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 turns to reach the thief. That shouldn't be too hard, actually. No. Swap spaces. I have a question. No, it's this, right? Yeah. I'm assuming I can't put this on my armor knight and have him warp, right? Like, that's not something I can do. That would be kind of funny if I could. Destructible? Okay, cool. What do you have? Rider's Bane. Oh, you're a monk. Okay, cool. Is that an angelic robe? Yeah, it's a seraph robe. Okay, cool. So what's the... Okay, it's defeat boss only.
The door's locked.
There's no time to find the...
Gotcha.
Say the word.
For you, anything.
Oh, there's no reason to use the steel bow.
I'm all set.
Oh, rip. You're shitting me, right? What? Come on. You're telling me I can't have Boosh attack this guy on the first turn? That's insane. I hate that. Oh, I hate that so much.
Is firm. Emblem Engage!
I might just turn off animations. If I want to see them, I'll just turn it back on.
Your orders, please.
As your steward.
Oh, I could trade the hand axe to him. I suppose. Because they're gonna punish me for... And I don't have Kanto, because... Kanto is not a base skill anymore for some reason, and it doesn't matter because you do only 1 damage anyway. That was a terrible map animation, but okay. Tell me I can do something. Technically I can. Cause backup damage is a thing. I should have chain guarded. That's fine though.
My muscles are
What?
Woohoo! The cat. Thieves here now?
Oh, so I don't. So thieves just aren't necessary to open chests anymore. That's kind of.
I almost had a chance.
Nice crit. Okay, cool. I love it. That's kind of insane. Hey, where's my thing? Thank you. Hey, guess what? I have more dodge now, because Surge gives me dodge. Oh, it doesn't give me dodge. Oh, okay. I thought Surge gave dodge, apparently not.
Emblem.
Is it go time?
Wow, movement! Are you gonna be fine? Probably not, honestly, right? Worst case scenario, I put Sigurd onto Vander and then fuck up the thief. And that requires restarting the map, but yeah. Oh, I can Kanto, that's right. It doesn't matter though, because he'll die anyway. Or... unless it's stupid thief AI.
My resolve is unchanged.
Emblem.
That's a great level up. Oh, that's right, I have warp as well. Armor Knights can't be broken, so that's fine. Ow.
Hold steady.
If I have a javelin, I do. Can I... 1 HP, not like this. So that kills the thief. But I probably die to the archer and the fighter here. But I also have warp.
Yes.
Yeah, cause warp is not broken. Okay then. Wow, that's... Hold on, what's the range? 1, 2, 3, 4... No, it really is just... It is... Wait, hold on. 1, 2... It's 14 tiles? Or is it tiles within, like... Okay, hold on. I have a question. Res. I'll wait here only.
It looks like we can break.
And then I can warp. Oh, I can't warp there. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay, so I have to do one of these 2 tiles. Got it. If I do this... Oh, I can just murder this guy. That's hilarious. That's a really nice level.
It looks like...
Our level ups are probably not RNG. They're you have 20. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so you should survive, because none of these have ranged weapons, and you'll get broken so you can't counterattack, which is fine. Now it's time to hopefully not get destroyed. This takes out a threat, which is what I need to do. Strength? Okay, you know what? That's not that terrible, I guess. You take 16 damage. Oh, 16 minus
Handle
6
with
is
care.
10 plus 16, 26. Do I do it? Sure. I really don't like these low percent crit rates that everyone seems to have. Oh, you two are still a thing, that's right.
Don't worry, I'm fine.
Nice dodge, holy shit. Ow. Strength, I'll take it. Reinforcements. Thankfully they aren't ambush spawns, because that would be terrible. Oh, I have 100 hit with this? That's insane. And I'm at weapon triangle disadvantage? Jesus.
Don't look at me right now.
Oh wow, you're doubling. That's insane. Probably.
I got this.
Magic. Oh, it's because of that guy. I'm just like, how the hell are they reaching?
I can keep going.
Okay, not bad. That guy will make his way over eventually. Eventually.
I still stand.
I hate how garbage Vander is for a tier 2 class.
I have some left to give.
Oh, I don't have the hand axe, that's right. How much damage do you deal? I need to deal 14 damage. Hold on, how much damage does the hand axe do? Stop giving me... Oh, this is so stupid! Give me the stats of the goddamn item, you garbage game. It's 7. So I'm losing 6. That's 11, 14. Okay, that should be just enough. Yeah, that's just enough if I don't miss. Do I depend on 176 or an 86 and an 80? Probably this, honestly. Speed! Oh, you can level up build? That's insane. That's actually insane. I didn't know you could level up build. Your defense is 5. You take 11 damage.
I am ready to serve.
You will physically die from 2 archers. Got it. Can I W? I cannot. Armor Slayer. Nice. I can't Kanto out of that, really? That's insane.
I'll manage.
Obstruct. Oh, okay, that would sound useful. Let me do this first.
Whatever you say.
Nice. Okay, I'm not an idiot.
I'm okay.
I can still fight.
Okay, so chain attacks hit through defense. That's actually really nice to know. $39, sure. You have 9 fizz attacks, so I'm not super afraid of you. But you can kill Clan, though, so I will heal you then. What is OBS not updating? That'd be insane if it wasn't. Tell me my stream is not dead. Doesn't seem to be. It would be insane if it was.
As your steward.
Alright, you have, and you use lances? How much attack do I didn't mean to do that, but okay. I guess I did. Who's next? Oh, you. I will take you out just so I don't have to worry about anything from you, and then I'll do this. Ow! That's a lot of damage. Okay, boss is moving off his tile for some reason.
Please.
I have 0 crit, so this is fine.
Looky here.
I am not running this time.
Why am I losing HP?
This one's a tough opponent.
Oh. So he has 2 lives. I have a question. What does resonance do? Oh, lose 1 HP. That explains a lot. Cool.
Lend me your...
How much speed do you have? 7. Do you double me? You don't, and you do only 7 damage. Thanks for the miss. I appreciate it. No, not really.
Those shiny
Strength again, Jesus. You're insane, aren't you?
Sorry.
I will use a vulnerary so I don't get murked. I'll use a vulnerary as well as a just in case. Do you survive? You do. So in other words, I'm more or less just fine. Got it.
My muscle!
Oh, I would have died. Rip. That's okay. Thanks for the dodge.
I will show you.
Ooh, the divine dragon. I better get it.
That took 9 turns? That took a bit longer than expected, actually. And here I was thinking I was breezing through this game.
Alfred, Mother is in the back room. She's okay.
Now I have to...
That's a relief.
Now I can let the auto advance do its job.
Thank you, all of you, for rescuing me. My children, you're safe. What a relief.
We have a guest, Mother. Someone came all the way from Lethos to see you.
The Divine Dragon?
Queen Ev, it's an honor to meet you. I'm so glad that you're all right. I've come here by invitation of Prince Alfred.
Just look at you, awake at long last. I am Ev, the Queen of Firene. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you.
The Divine Dragon has come to help our country, Mother. We were just in time to rescue Saline. And get this! The Divine One summoned Emblem Celica from our ring!
A legendary emblem, Oh my, how extraordinary. Thank you sincerely. You have my deepest gratitude. My family is safe because of you. You are blessed with the same powers as your mother. How is Queen Lumera?
Well, she's gone. My mother passed away.
No, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
Some intruders entered the castle. They tried to kill me, but she gave her life to protect mine.
Oh, how tragic.
I'm glad.
If I'm going to be very honest, this sounds very forced. The voice acting, that is.
Out to you.
Forgive me. We've only just met, and here I am, laying my grief at your feet. I just wish I could have saved her too.
Divine One, while I cannot take away your sorrow, perhaps I can help you bear it. To reunite with her and then lose her so soon, I can only imagine how painful that was. For now, allow yourself to grieve, knowing that I grieve with you.
Thank you, Queen Ev. Your warmth, your kindness. It's almost like she's here with me.
How are you feeling?
Better. I'm sorry you had to see me like that.
No, we shouldn't have dragged you into all this right now. I'm sorry, Divine One.
As am I.
But if I hadn't left when I did, what might have happened to you, Saline? Or you, Queen Ev? I'm proud to serve people in need, like my mother did.
Thank you.
Now, the Illusian leader. She said her kingdom released the Fell Dragon. I take it that's why the corrupted are appearing in Elyos again.
Now there's no question that the Fell Dragon's after the rings. Which means we need to hurry. Head them off before they can reach the next one.
Queen Ev, your country's ring. May I take it?
Of course. The Kingdom of Firene gives it with love, trust, and gratitude.
Thank you very much.
There is something you should know, however. My kingdom has another emblem ring in its possession.
What? Since when?
There is another ring? Here in Firene?
It was kept secret to avoid conflict. For generations, knowledge of this ring has been confined to the monarchs of Firene. However, now that the Fell Dragon has arisen, it is best to dispel the shroud of secrecy. It is commonly thought that the Divine Dragon gave one ring to each country's leader. However, Firene received a second. The Ring of the Dawn Maiden.
I see.
Damn, and
To
here I was
ensure that
hoping
no one
Om would
find it,
come in.
The ring was hidden away far from the
But
castle.
that's okay.
It rests in a shrine on the Brodian border.
Doesn't sell.
remember those old ruins.
What?
Celica
You
does.
do?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Mother took me there after Father died. She told me to keep the location in mind. At the time, I didn't know why. Now it makes sense.
I was preparing you for the day you became king.
Yeah,
I'll take everyone to the
his
shrine.
sister has
From
the
there,
crown.
I can continue on with the Divine Dragon.
So, you are leaving, Alfred?
Yes. I want to do my part to end this war. With your blessing, Mother, I'm going to help the Divine Dragon bring peace to Elyos.
Mother, I would like to join as well.
Alfred. Saline.
You have my blessing. I know you will serve the Divine Dragon.
Wow,
within
it's taking so long.
one condition.
My Switch is falling asleep.
Swear to
What a
me that you will
shocker.
come back alive.
I swear it.
I swear it.
Thank you very much, Queen Ev.
I trust that you will take some time to rest prior to your departure. The journey ahead will be arduous, but know that you are all in my prayers. May good fortune shine upon you.
Hi.
Pardon me.
Right. That's true.
Yes.
Why are there just random things lying around? Like, I get it. I really do. They need to give it to us somehow, but it just doesn't make sense. And it's super immersion breaking for me. Like, you can very clearly tell who this game is geared toward, right? And that's newer / younger people. Which is fine.
Thanks.
But that doesn't mean it has to be a terrible story, right?
Divine One.
And guess what? After all of this, we have to go...
Yes.
Yes.
Royal Guard has been too lax. Jeez! Who could have thought?
A word, please.
Sure.
Okay.
I talk to you two for the bond fragments.
Divine.
Yes. Hey there. You're the
This
Who might
is
you?
Me?
Forge.
I'm a blacksmith.
Yeah,
And I am
blacksmith.
Pinay.
I'll cut right to it. Our friend and, well,
My clothes and accessories will...
If Durden vouches for you.
really?
Indeed. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't expect a cutscene to
Rib,
play.
you sure about that, darling? You're shaking like a leaf. I take it you failed to obtain the ring.
Apologies, ma'am. Those guys were tougher than they looked. But I can tell you things. Stuff that'll help you track it down. Like the fact that Princess Saline ran off with it. The Divine Dragon has it now. Pretty good info, right? What do you say? How about we call it even this time round? I won't let you down again.
Oh, how naive you are. After you fail me once, there is no
I
second
can't
chance.
take her seriously. I really can't.
No! Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me!
They also easily could have used this boss for a... Not her, the guy that she just murdered in cold blood. For a character development.
I am sorry, my lady. Apologies for the mess.
Where it's just
And
like
now a failure to acquire
Alir either has to kill him or not type of thing rather than him running away. Like, it's so easy to... Man,
I was expecting to get
they have all these characters.
Mara's dead.
Yes, but there's another divine dragon to take her place. I can't believe that beast had a child.
It does explain why she was so willing to sacrifice her life.
What should we do?
The battle at Lithos Castle took its toll. We're in no shape for another confrontation. We'd best lie low for a spell. Leave them be, for now.
Understood.
Oh, the arena is open. Nice. Poggers, the arena is open. That's great.
Thank you. Now, about the boutique. Be well.
Welcome, welcome. Here's how the smithy works.
What does it do? Raises might. Okay. Does it reduce weight? It does at some point. Okay. Oh, you can refine the liberation? That's insane. That's actually just insane. Holy shit. You just get 2 might just from this? That's actually insane. And for 50 steel, you get 2 might. That's insane. This probably makes it into an iron lance. And then +5 gives another 2 might. That's also insane. Holy shit. Yeah, it makes it into an iron lance. Okay, cool. This is a steel lance. This is probably a beast killer, and that's probably a rider's bane, right? No, that's the rider's bane. Okay. This is a silver lance. I don't know what this is. Javelin. The javelin getting hit is like the most important thing, I would say. Because the hit rates are kind of yikes. Rider's Bane Foraging. Any might on any effective weapon is good. Mogwin, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well today. Well, I'm sorry I didn't notice you. I was totally not in the mindset that no one was here for the past 1.5 hours. Those hit rates gets worse on Maddenings? Yeah, I kind of figured. Hope you enjoy Engage. I will reserve judgment until I finish the game, because right now, like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also kind of like, you know, if that makes sense. Yes, hammering a tome makes sense. Cool. This gives might too, Jesus. I'm gonna stay away. What does engraving do? Huh. Okay, so it's just more stats. That's actually kind of insane. That's insane. Okay. So if I do this, it's just more stats. Jesus. The harder you hit, the more knowledge the tome passes down. Fair enough. You give 20 avoid. That's insane. I'll leave it alone for now. I'm not gonna touch forging at the moment. Because it's resources that... I mean, resource management is a part of the game, which is fine, right? I'm okay with resource management. Because if my weapons don't have uses, at least everything else does, you know? Because I think weapon usage is very key, right? I like weapon usage better than resource usage for forging. Because the thing is...
Oh.
When it comes to weapon forging, I think just using gold and having no limits to it is kind of fun. Because then it's just like, how much resources are you putting into a weapon that will eventually break? And then there's the hammer. Because you'll eventually get a hammer in a game that has weapon uses, right? And then you can repair a set of a weapon, right? Bond fragments are not that much of a problem. Fair enough. I don't know, there's a lot of things... Like, here's the thing. It looks very nice. The game looks very nice. And I can't deny that, right? It's... everything else that I more or less somewhat have an issue with, you know? Somewhat. Like, they're not big issues, it's just stuff that bothers me, you know? And I don't know if it's like a... Because again, this is what, chapter 6? So I have more stuff to do, right? What do I think of my units? In terms of mechanics or personality? Because that I can answer that question in very different ways. Back to Samuel? Okay. How long? How much can I do this? Okay. So tell me. Okay. Should I? I could just do this. But I don't think that would be smart. Both? Okay, mechanic-wise... Clan has gotten strength twice, so I don't know how I feel about that. He's gotten speed, though, so I'll take it, right? Because a fast mage is always nice, right? Vander has the, Vander has the, what do you call it? What's his name? I think his name is Gunther. Vander has the Gunther problem where in like chapter 1 and chapter 2 he's solid, and then after that he just falls off really hard because he has no stats, right? Or I feel he has no stats, right? He has decent res. Then again, he's a paladin. I keep thinking he's a great knight, but he's a paladin, right? I don't know, I feel like Vander is very lackluster for being a tier 2 unit that is supposedly very strong early game, right? He's tanky, and he does decent damage, but that's about it, right? Of course you're not going to be able to solo maps with him, but I feel like he should be pulling his weight just a little bit more. I have nothing to say about Fram. It's just, okay, she's a medic, she's a cleric. I have no... Like, in terms of, like, combat, it's just, like... It's nice, but it's just, like, there's no reason to use it. Most of the time, Chain Guard is fun, but I just forget about it, and I haven't really had the need to use it. Of course, on Maddening, it's different, right? But the issue that I have is that the jump between Hard and Maddening is so big, right? I want Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, the second remake, difficulties back, where it's just like there's 5 different levels of hard. Like, I want that back, because then you can sort of find that middle ground, right, on what's hard enough, just hard enough for you, while also, like, not steamrolling you, you know? Alfred's been pretty solid. Eddie's an archer. She's, like, she hits hard, which is good. Because archers should hit hard, otherwise they're useless, right? Funnily enough, Boucheron's been solid too. I thought he would. I kind of looked at his stats and wrote him off, but he's been pretty solid. I feel like Saline is way too powerful, but maybe that's just me abusing Warp and Warp Ragnarok. There's also no reason for her to use swords. There's no reason she needs to use swords, but I guess it makes sense that she does. Lewis has also been super solid. He's an armor knight, right? Either he's a big ball of stats or he's useless, right? That's usually how armor knights are. And so he's been super solid because he's got a defense stat to back him up, and he's fast enough to not get doubled, which is really good. Chloe's okay. I don't think she's amazing. Movement being lowered really hurts, I feel like. Like, I can understand cavalry units having slightly less movement, rather than, like, 8 or 7, they have, like, 6 and 5. But infantry units having 4 move feels terrible, right? I would rather have infantry units have 5 move and cavalry have 7/8 movement, right? I would rather have that rather than this type of lowered movement. But maybe that's just me. In terms of story, I like that Alir's a coward. Or at least from what I've seen, he's a coward, right? Why are past Fire Emblem characters here? They shouldn't be here. That's just me, but past characters from past Fire Emblem games sell. Fire Emblem Heroes has proven that. Chloe is arguably the best unit in the game. Why am I not surprised? You know, I find it funny. The more I think about it, the more I say that Alir's probably, in terms of, like, story, Alir's probably my most favorite character, simply because he's a coward, right? Because we don't really have a main character that's a coward. So I'll take it, right? Vander is classic old man person thing. Clan and Fram annoy me. I don't like them at all. The moment I can replace Clan, I'm doing that. The moment I can replace Fram, I'm also doing that. Also, her braid makes no sense. Alfred's okay, I guess. I don't know. I've been skipping supports because I don't find them interesting. Like, I would read, like, the first, like, 4 or 5 dialogue boxes or listen to them, and I'll just skip them on stream. I'll eventually, like, read them off stream, but as of right now, it's just, not right now. They should have made Etty more chonky. Changed my mind. I have nothing to say about these two because they don't talk much. And I skipped their supports, which is my fault, I guess, but I have nothing to say about them. Here's the thing, right? I ranted about this yesterday, but I guess I can rant about it again. They went back to the basic storyline, right? Which is fine. I'm okay with the basic storyline of Fire Emblem, right? Because it's the hero's journey, and the hero's journey is a basic storyline. You will never see anyone call the hero's journey a bad thing, because you can make the hero's journey, you can take it and be creative with it, right? But my issue with the story so far is that it's very lackluster and it moves very fast. I don't care about any of these characters, and if you're going to tell me I should care about them because I should be reading their supports, then that's bad storytelling, at least in my opinion, because I shouldn't have to read something that's separate from the main story to know more about them, to care about them, right? If your main story does not make me care about your characters, but instead you're pointing me to a side story, then that's bad writing in my opinion. Because the thing is, again, it's the hero's journey, right? And they could have been they didn't even have to be super creative with it, right? But instead they went to the most basic of storylines so far, right? Because I can see stuff coming a mile away, like Lumera dying, like, oh hey, I called it yesterday, I said she'll die in chapter 3, and guess what? She died in chapter 3. Like the moment I heard, oh hey, we have a mom, she's dying, and I just threw out a random chapter. And then there's what do you call it? I guess there's a form of plot armor, because it doesn't make any sense that Alfred showed up to save the day in said chapter. I might have missed something on why he was there, but to me it makes no sense world building wise, right? Because no one knows. Well, no, he said he. Oh wait, I know. No, was there a message after the chapter, or did he come to Lethos with the intent of getting help? I don't remember. Can you tell I didn't pay attention? I mean, I paid some form of attention, right? But again, the story was moving too fast for me to care. And I get it, and I get, like, moving, like, a slow story can, like, I get that a slow story can also not be interesting, I get that. But they moved way too fast, right? Because the thing is, because let's be real, there's no way this whole thing that they have with the whole free roam exploring after battle and in towns in Somniel, they're definitely taking inspiration from other games, right? Of course it evolved, it started with Fates, right? Where you could explore your castle and do things and place buildings and stuff, right? And it's evolved to this, right? Which is fine. But at the same time, it feels like there's no substance to it, right? Because it's handed to us on a silver platter, right? Like, we did not earn this item store. It was handed to us on a silver platter, right? We did not earn this armory. It was handed to us on a silver platter. We did not earn the blacksmith. It was handed to us on a silver platter. We weren't handed this clothing store even. Or we were handed this clothing store. Like, it is moving too fast for my liking, and I get that. I get that they need to give it to us immediately, right? But the way they went about it felt really lazy. Right? Like, I feel like they could try they just need to do a little bit more, right? Just like 1 or 2 steps, and all of the issues I'm talking about are more or less fixed, right? Because I don't think anyone would be averse to a longer game. I don't think anyone would say, oh, hey, a longer game is bad, right? Because their intentions about this are very clear, whereas it's like you're supposed to take your time in between each chapter to talk to characters, get to know them more, right? Because support readings... Because when you read supports and you listen to them, it'll take a long time for them to just listen to them, right? Because you'll have to do supports after every battle if you want to do them, right? Or you just skip them. And they're leaning very heavily on having the characters be likable enough to carry it, right? Which is fine. But again, it's just like... I really feel like it could have done better. I have 4 amiibo. I should probably find out where they are. I don't even know how to scan them for the Switch.
Well then.
Did my rant make sense? I hope it did. Because right now my brain is kind of dead. Because I'm tired. I did a lot of work today. And I'm not entirely sure whether I'm making any coherent sentences. Right? You're also welcome to call me out if I'm saying dumb shit. Yeah, because being insulted on the internet is a wonderful pastime, you know? Or being criticized on the internet is a wonderful pastime. Made sense to you? Poggers. I still got it. Also, for those of you who don't know, this is what I want to do for a living, is write coherent stories that are good, you know? Because here's the thing. Okay, so let me bring out Notepad real quick. Hold on. Let me open up Notepad real quick. Cause we're gonna go through this, right? Okay, this should work. So Notepad, because for real, the Somnial just felt like checking off the chore list after a few chapters. Yeah, exactly, right? So what do we have? So we're just to be clear, I'm not going to change the storyline majorly, right? So in the first 6 chapters, because we're on chapter 6 now, I believe, right? Or are we chapter 7? I don't remember. I can just check. Hold on. We just retook the castle, so we're on chapter 6. Okay. So in the first 6, so we have our prologue, right? I need to spell prologue correctly. We have our prologue that's it was the whole beat the fell dragon premonition type of thing. Right. Mom has to die. Of amnesia. I know they're called the corrupted in this game, but to me they're the risen, right? They're very clearly risen, right? Just call them the risen. You might as well, right? Because it's just recycling them. Like, you can't tell me they're just not risen, right? Like The Walking Dead, right? You can't tell, like, in the show, The Walking Dead, they're called the Walkers, and everyone calls them the Walkers, but they're zombies, right? You know? Like, everyone will call them zombies. Like, these are just the Risen, right? And the Risen are basically also just zombies, you know? After that, we meet Mom. You meet Alfred in the game. Save a town. Yes, I know her name isn't actually Saline as in the drip saline. We're making stupid jokes because this is original content, you know? Hashtag totally original content. And then we... Alright. Mom dies plus time crystal. Meet Saline and again meet mysterious girl with chain. Cause one thing I noted is that she had chains around her legs, right? Like, that was the first thing I noticed, right? And then what's after? And this is basically where we stopped, right? So here's the thing, right? We could very easily change this. We could very easily fix this. Plus, we need to do all the Somnial stuff as well, right? Introduce the blacksmith and stuff. So first off, because here's the thing. I'm speaking to no one, so it doesn't matter. Feels bad. That's okay. I guess I can rant to the void, because ranting to the void is important, and that's okay. So, because here's the thing, when it comes to... So it's very clearly that they're aiming this at a younger audience, because it has that shonen anime vibe to it, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. But that doesn't mean the writing has to suck. Right? It does not mean that the writing has to suck at all. Right? Take WALL-E. Like, the movie WALL-E, right? Which is, I think it's a Pixar movie, right? Let me just double check so I don't anger any... WALL-E... Produced by Pixar Animation Studio. Oh, nice. So WALL-E is a children's movie, right? Like, I think no one will deny that it's a movie for kids, But does the movie have terrible writing? No, it doesn't, right? You can enjoy it as an adult. Adults can enjoy WALL-E, even though it's an animated film, right? And that's the thing about good stories, is that it does not matter what age you are, you can still enjoy it no matter how basic it is. And that's what I was hoping for in this, right? Like, because I can go back to Fire Emblem 7, Fire Emblem 8, Fire Emblem 6, which is, like, Fire Emblem 6 is, a Sealed Sword, whose main character is Roy. Fire Emblem 7 is Blazing Blade with Lynn, Hector, and Eliwood. And then Fire Emblem 8 is Sacred Stones with Erica and Ephraim. And I can go back to those 3 games, those 3 GBA games that were released over 20 years, or almost 20 years ago at this point, right? For Sacred Stones, it's 19. For the other 2, it's more, probably over 20, I think. Or 20 or more. And you can enjoy the story, right? Of course the story's not perfect. Of course the story has plot holes. Of course the story doesn't make sense in some scenarios, right? But you can enjoy it because it doesn't move fast. It doesn't cut corners, right? Like, there are points in the story that they take it slow. They take their time for the main characters to get flushed out before they rush into the main story, right? And that's why the whole you fight bandits in the first few chapters of Fire Emblem is a whole meme, is because that's the point, is that they take it slow in the beginning for you to help explore those characters before they get into the meat grinder that is their own story, right? Even in Sacred Stones, they don't get into the main story immediately, because the story starts out with Erica and Ephraim's father getting killed. It starts off with a war, right? The war doesn't start 5 chapters in. It's already starting. It's just that they're running away, they're escaping, and then they take it slow because they need to travel to rescue Ephraim, right? Because the war is quote-unquote over, right? And you're just like, oh, hey, what about the Grotto soldiers? Where are they, right? Because where are the enemy soldiers other than the bandits? And it's just like, and that's explained, because, or it's not explained, but you can it's almost self-explanatory. Plus it's explained that later that they're going to find the stones, and Grotto isn't policing the lands, right? Because there's no need to. It's not their country, right? Because, they're the villains. And it's a simple, basic premise. But with those few lines, it's just like, you can criticize it, but with the way they did it, that explains so much with very little, right? Here, it doesn't do that, right? And it's very basic without doing those little explanations. It doesn't do the basic stretching that it needs to do, like before you go to the gym and work out, you need to stretch a little bit before you do your actual workout. Otherwise, your muscles will cry out in pain and your body will hate you for not doing that, right? I should know, because I go to the gym every other day now because I need to, and I'm planning on working on going to the gym every day because that's how self-improvement works. Go to the gym, by the way. It's very good for you. So it's just like, we're 5 chapters in. I don't care about my characters. I know a little bit about the world, right? But that doesn't matter. Why should I care about the world? I'm here to care about the characters, right? Like, because if I care about the characters, I'll care about the world, because they live in that world, right? Unless the main character is supposed to be the country and not the world, right? But it's just like, okay, here's how I would write these first 5 or 6 chapters without changing any of the major story beats, right? So for the prologue, they showed like a bunch of characters. I think they showed Alfred, and they showed some other characters with some other emblems, right? I would remove that. I would straight up remove that, right? I would have it just be let me type this out, actually. Have it only be Martha and Alir, right? In the beginning, right? Have it only be Martha, Alir, and the villain, right? Because that way you're jumping right into the action. You don't have to watch this long-ass cutscene, right? And I'm not saying the cutscene was bad. The cutscene was okay. It's just like, why are you showing me this, right? Because it's just like, I get, like, oh, all these characters are here. It's cool, whatever, right? But it's just like, why do you want me to like this game because of previous Fire Emblem game characters? Why don't you want me to care about this game because of the original characters that are in it? Not that they're technically original because they're recycled personality traits and stuff without somewhat being unique, right? Or at least so far, not really. At least from what I've seen. Though Alir being I mean, okay, I take that back. That's not really an avid criticism since I've skipped supports and I haven't seen too much. Okay, I'm sorry, I take that back. But it's still hard to care about the original characters of this game, right? And another thing that rubs me the wrong way before I continue changing the storyline and probably will get crucified on the internet for it, is that they'll call the corrupted even though they're basically the risen. But the Fell Dragon is still the Fell Dragon, you know? They can't come up with a different name for some reason, right? Like, that rubs me the wrong way. Because it's just like, if you're going to call the corrupted and not the risen, why not just call... Because the corrupted are basically the risen. Like, you can't tell me they're not, right? Like, it doesn't matter, like, oh, they're technically not dead people. It's just like, no, they basically act like the risen, right? But they'll call the Fell Dragon, right? And they'll have Divine Dragons and Divine Dragons, which is fine, but it's just like, keep it consistent, right? You see a notepad and file open? Yes, that's the point. Isol, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well today. The whole point is that I'm critiquing the story, and I'm writing down how I would change the story, because I started this rant when there were new people here, and I don't know if they're still listening. It would be lovely if they were still listening, but I don't know. But I'm still going to continue because I'm probably going to put this up on YouTube later. Hashtag not sponsored. Because who the hell would YouTube sponsor? But, yeah, I would have just straight up in that first cutscene of the game, just straight up remove all the other characters except for Martha, Lear, and the villain, right? Because that's basically what's done in the beginning of Awakening, is that it's Crom, it's you, the avatar, the self-insert, that is, and the villain, right? And I think that was a good prologue, or premonition, as it was in Awakening. I think that was good. It was a good way to introduce Crom, because you got the gist of who Crom was, you got the gist of who the villain was, and then you as the silent protagonist were there witnessing all of it, right? Now, Alir is not a silent protagonist, which is fine. And Marth is a character that we all know and hopefully love. At least I like Marth a lot, right? Because his story is the hero's journey, and I think it's a really good story. You catch me upbeat context. So basically, we were talking about characters and I was saying that, like, oh, hey, I don't find them interesting. I skip their supports, blah, blah, blah. The story's moving too fast. Everything was handed to us on a silver platter. And then I compared it to Wally. I compared it to past Fire Emblem game stories. I compared it to the hero's journey. And then I opened up the notepad and I basically said, oh, hey, here's what happened in the first 6 chapters, and now I'm saying, hey, this is how I would change it. You're listening in, just cleaning a map right now? Fair enough. Thank you for lurking. I appreciate it. But, what was I saying? Oh, right, yeah, Marth and Alir, right? Like, we don't need... having Marth... Because we already know what Marth's character is, right? From previous Fire Emblem games. So you keep that character the same. And then I would go balls to the wall with Alir as a coward, right? Because in the first few chapters of the game, other than the prologue, he acts like a coward. He doesn't want to fight. He wants to run. And I think that's a breath of fresh air in a Fire Emblem self-insert. And yes, Alir is a self-insert whether you like it or not. I refuse to believe otherwise. Someone can probably convince me. Sounding like they tried to take the things that made the old ones classic, but just fucked it up. In a one sentence, yeah, I'd say that's accurate. In one sentence, I would say that's accurate, right? I would go full on balls to the wall. Alir is a coward. And then Marth cheers his mom saying, hey, we gotta do this. We gotta fight this bad guy. We have to do it for our friends who are out there who are dying and sacrificing their lives so that we could come here and beat the shit out of this guy. Like, you know, except in, you know, Marth's tone of voice and without cursing, because Marth doesn't do that, right? And that's something Marth would do. That's Marth's character, right? Marth is that type of person. And Alir being a coward would be a great foil. The only Fire Emblem that you played yourself was the one on the Game Boy. You've been told that Heroes doesn't count, so you won't count it. For me, Heroes counts as a Fire Emblem game. It doesn't count as a canon Fire Emblem game. Like, if you tell me it's canon, that in the story of Fire Emblem, that all of these people went to the same place and then returned to their world, that is something that is not canon to me, right? But as a game, I am accepting it, because it has that basic Fire Emblem gameplay, right? Okay, speaking of... Okay, back to Marth and Alir. But yeah, Alir being a coward to Marth charging forward to fight the bad guy for his friends would... Like, that's a good dynamic. I would say that's a solid dynamic, right? Like, am I playing this on Switch or PC? Switch. Alright, and then they fight this... And they fight the bad guy. Alir's is like, oh, hey, I'm too weak. I can't do this. I want to run. And then Marth's like, no, we got this. Let's engage. That's when you learn about engaging, you fight. And then you beat a bad guy, right? And then and then you fall asleep for, then 1k year time lapse happens, right? Because he dies and then it's just, okay, boom. Or he gets sealed away, and then you get your 1k year time lapse. And then we go into chapter 1, right? Okay, so as a writer, don't mean to derail you again. It's okay, it's fine. I want to interact with chat. That's why Twitch chat is here, right? Because I want to interact with you, right? If this was a YouTube video, I would have not pressed start streaming. I would have pressed start recording, you know? What was I thinking? That's okay. I'm also just a little tired, so I'm sorry if I seem a little scatterbrained. Okay, so chapter 1, we have our 1k year time lapse. We wake up to Fram and Clan being super creepy, like, oh, we've been watching you sleep for God knows how long. It's just like, okay, thanks, I guess. But I would have it that Alir being amnesiac, I would have that as a facade, or that it's fake. I would say Alir is faking his amnesia. As a writer, I would do this, right? As a reader, as we're playing the story, we don't know that, right? So the reason why I would do that is that after 1,000 years, Alir was just told that he was asleep for 1,000 years. And him being a coward, if we go full balls to the wall and him being a coward, his first instinct should be self-preservation, right? And I think in that self-preservation, he would coincidentally not remember anything, right? And then that way, using his memories that he is lying about forgetting, he tries to find out who is his friend, who is his foe, right? And so Clan, Fram, Vander, he quickly passes them as friend, right? Because they're... If Vander betrays us at the end, oh man, that would be something I would not see coming, but Gunter betrayed us, so who knows at this point. Because that was a twist that no one ever saw coming, you know? Because it was literally never written into the game of Fates. But right? So I would know this, he fakes being amnesiac, and then, you know, the Risen fight happens, and then I would put in player agency here. One other thing I really wanted from this game was player agency. I really wanted choices to be given to us that mattered, right? I really wanted that, right? And I get that it is a back to roots Fire Emblem game, but that doesn't mean we don't have player agency, right? Like the whole Alir being a coward, I mean... I guess I could scratch that. Okay, in a perfect world, I'm gonna put this in parentheses. In a perfect world, if I were to have my way, I would have it that you could run from this fight. But Fram and Clan just die, and you can't use them. Because they die, you don't save them, right? And then Vander acts coldly to you, because he cares about them, and I'm assuming he's their father, or something like that, right? And if you choose to save them, of course you save them. You get to use them. Vander acts friendly to you, right? Like, it's a very small change that adds player agency to the game that does not matter in the big picture, right? Sort of. Like, of course it matters in the big picture in the sense that, oh, hey, in gameplay you get to use them, and because you get to use them, your army is bigger, and you'll have an easier time during your maps. Thanks for the hydrate, by the way. And because you have an easier time during your maps, and then that's where the supports come in. Right? They still need to figure out a way how to make supports more natural. Right now, supports are super jarring, right? Because they have no indication of main story, which is fine, but it's just like it just takes you out of the story with cutscenes, right? And I don't like that. At least in... Because the thing is, if you look in the older Fire Emblem games, like, player supports were at least, they weren't too big, right? And because they each had a goal in mind. Like, each character had some type of goal in mind, or they had their own wants and stuff, right? But for this game, it's just like I don't feel that dimension to them, right? I don't feel that second or third dimension to them. Also, why does clan go in melee? Why does clan go in melee? Like, that makes no sense to me. Are you saying he's stupid enough to go in melee? Fram, I can understand going in melee, because she's literally a melee fighter. But clan is just like, no, you're a mage. Why the hell are you... Why are you going in melee? And so what I would have it, instead of them running in melee and getting immediately fucked, what happens is Alir and Vander run. And then that choice happens on whether you continue running or you go back and fight, right? And Alir makes that choice, right? And because Alir, in this version of the story, he has his memories, he remembers Marth's words about our friends are dying out there, we have to do this for them, etc., right? He remembers Marth's words, and that's where he goes back to save his newer comrades, right? Because that makes sense to me. Because he's faking being amnesiac, but he remembers this friend that he had, this friend named Marth, who is uplifting him and boosting him to try to be this better person, right? And Alir being this coward, that also gives room for character development, and everyone knows that character development is a core thing, or that is needed for a story to be good, right? Now, obviously, characters don't have to develop, right? Like, you can write a story without character development, but the characters will still change, right? Like, development doesn't necessarily have to mean this big change, right? But because this is the hero's journey that we're using, Alir can go from this coward to this strong leader, right? Instead of him being a coward and then, being this goody two-shoes from the beginning, Or instead of being this goody two-shoes from the beginning, he's not that. He's a coward. He doesn't want to fight. He wants to run. He doesn't want to deal with it because he's scared, right? And that's okay. But the whole story could be about his development as a character, evolving from that shell into this leader that people around him look up to, right? Because from the get-go, you have Fram and Clan looking up to him. Like, and if you wanted to, you could say that he thinks of them as little siblings that he never had. You could probably write that in somehow. That Alir looks at Fram and Clan as smaller siblings that he's always wanted but never had. And as that character development, in this moment when he's running, he thinks about it because maybe in his past, in 1,000 years ago, in his talks with Marth talks to him about his family, about his sister, about his wife, because Marth is married, right? And Alir thinks about that. And he says, if Clan and Fram were my... Like, he says to himself, if Clan and Fram were my family, would I run? Is this what I would want to do? And the answer would, of course, be no, right? And so he would run back to save them, right? And here's the thing. This Risen fight that I'm saying that happens, it doesn't have to happen immediately. It doesn't have to happen immediately, right? Like, if the whole reason it happens is because they find out he wakes up and it happens literally 10 minutes after, no, have it happen 2 or 3 days after it, right? And for all we know, it does happen 2 or 3 days after it, but they don't tell us that. They only tell us, oh, hey, we're moving the Somnial to Lithos, and they don't tell us how much time it takes, right? And it's just like, how the hell did the Corrupted get in to the Somnial in the first place, right? Because Vander's explanation of the Somnial is that only divine dragons can let people inside. And it's like, so either a divine dragon let them in, which means that Lumera is a genius and she faked her own death, or there's a third divine dragon unaccounted for, which is probably the Fell Dragon. Who knows, right? But it's just like, for the basis of this story, the Risen fight doesn't have to happen immediately, and we are shown the downtime with Fram, Clan, and Vander, right? We are shown this, right? And here's the thing. If Alir is amnesiac, he can claim he doesn't know how to use a sword, right? Because in this fight, he has a sword, and he knows how to use it. And I know that's not how it works. I know for when you lose your memory, you still retain basic function. You still know how to do things like make coffee, speak languages, etc., right? I know that that's not how it works, but Alir could make that claim, right? And that claim can be used as a writing tool by the writer for the readers and for the characters in the world. Like, Vander could take note of that, right? Vander could be like, oh, really? You don't know how to use a sword? Like, he could take that and then sound suspicious of Alir. Like, he could have this growing suspicion of Alir, that Alir is hiding something, right? And then we, as the readers, can pick up on that, right? I'm still on chapter 1. And I've changed so little. And look at how much more depth these characters have, right? It's sounding like a really cliche hero's journey, but that's the point, right? That's what they wanted, is a hero's journey. right? And the hero's journey is not a bad story. Like, Star Wars is the hero's journey. The original trilogy is the hero's journey. Or the original movie is the hero's journey, right? It's been used over and over again, right? So this being the hero's journey is okay, right? And I've changed so little. I've changed, what, 2 details? And it's already, and all of the characters already have more depth in the first 2 chapters than they have in the first 6. Right? Or am I being delusional right now in thinking that I'm a better writing than Intelligent System and Nintendo? You're not saying that it's a bad story? Fair enough. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit worked up right now. My bad. I shouldn't have snapped at you. Let me take another drink, since I kind of need it. And so part of the chapter 1 can be Fram, Clan, and Vander teaching him how to use a sword, right? Teach with air quotes, right? And then of course Alir learns more about Fram and Clan and Vander, like, oh hey, they learn favorite foods, favorite colors, etc. The whole 9 yards, right? This one is sounding cliche? Oh, it's a very cliche story. Engage's story is very cliche. Right? Because yesterday when I was playing it, I saw Lumera. Lumera is Alir's mother. Or at least we're told she is. Because there's reasonable doubt that she isn't. We're told she's Alir's mother. And I'm just like, you're a Fire Emblem mom. You're gonna die in Chapter 3. And guess what? She died in Chapter 3. Like, it's a very predictable story. With very predictable twists, in my opinion, so far, right? And Alir remembers Marth. Right, Chapter 1 happens, Alir reconnects with Marth. And Alir reconnecting with Marth could be another indicator of he actually remembers. Cause remember, this whole crux of him faking his amnesia is a secret to the player, right? Like, that's supposed to be a secret to us, the player, that he is faking his amnesia, right? So him reconnecting with Marth, him being engaging to save Fram and Clan could be an indicator that he's lying, and that's where Vander starts to get suspicious. You're just thinking about being an internet pirate? Just don't get caught. I'm not encouraging it, just don't get caught. And then Chapter 2 happens, right? Where they land at Somniel. Actually, no, hold on. That's not what happens. They get saved, right? After that, more Risen appear, right? I'm just gonna call them the Risen, because corrupted is such a mouthful. Right? And then they get saved by destined to die mom, right? And that's okay, right? And then that's where Alir shows like true feelings of like, oh hey, of forgetting, right? Because he doesn't know who Lumera is. And then there could be some type of indication from Marth on whether this is or not the case. Like maybe Marth doesn't remember at all. Like maybe Marth could be like, if Lumera is actually her or his mother, Marth could be like, oh yeah, you don't remember, I'm so sorry, or something like that, right? But if she isn't, Marth could stay silent, and he could clue in Alir later behind closed doors, where we as the player wouldn't know that Marth and Alir are talking about this, right? But there are visual indications from like Marth's facial expressions that something's off, right? Right? Because that type of storytelling is very, very... Like, that's what hooks people in, is that if you do one thing, you're like, oh, hey, why is this happening, right? And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a major event on, oh, hey, why is this happening? This is such a small detail, right? Whether Marth says something or his facial expressions convey something else, right? Because they have that aspect of storytelling. They're not writing a book. They're writing a visual novel, essentially, right? So you can use facial expressions. They can use facial expressions to indicate Marth knows something and that something is wrong, right? And then behind closed doors, he tells Alir, hey, something's up, you know? If Lumera is not his mom, which is probably the case, honestly. And then chapter 2 happens, right? And then chapter 2 is they reconnect. And it's just sort of like Alir is fishing for information, right? Because he needs information, right? And the whole, I don't want to take the ring because it feels like I'm stealing a promise that you made to somebody else, that can stay in. Because he can genuinely feel that, right? But that doesn't mean he can't be smart about it, right? Like, he's fishing for information, like, is this person really my mother? Like, the moment you see Lumera, you're like, you look nothing like Alir, right? Because Alir has this blue and red hair, she does not. Like, it's very jarring, right? And it's just like, because there's no... I mean, and I get that it's anime, but it's just like... And their faces are really bland and you can't tell anything. But it's just like, there's nothing in Lumera's appearance that indicates she passed down any traits to Alir other than classic anime face, right? And that's not something that I can use as evidence to say that she is his or her mother, right? Like, I can't use that, because then that applies to other characters too. And either way, even if she isn't his mom, right? He bonds with her. Right? And I think with this, if I may be so bold, in a perfect world, with my way, it's both true and not true that Lumera is his mother. Like, depending on your, depending on, choice. Like, depending on, the choices you, as in Alir, makes, to give that player agency is, in a perfect world, I would have it that, in one route, yes, she is your true mother. She is blood related to you. She birthed you, she raised you, and then she lost you. Right? I would be so down for that. And then, in another route, she didn't do that. She's tricking you. She's evil in some capacity, or she's keeping a secret from you in some capacity. It doesn't have to be malicious, and she's not actually your mother, right? I think both could work really well, because I feel like it's already set up that she, in what we know about the story, or in what little I know about the story, I feel like it's set up that she both could be his mother while also not being his mother at the same time. It both could work, right? Because we don't have information, right? It both could work, right? And so if you choose different routes, it could work, right? For example, in Three Houses, which route is canon, right? None of them. There's no way any of the routes are canon, because then people would be mad. Because in in any route, there are a few characters that do die, and people don't like that, right? So it makes sense to me that they could do something like that, where Lumera in one route is your true mother, and in another route, she's tricking you. And it could be two similar stories or two wildly different stories with the same hero's journey for Alir, right? And instead of having the invasion happen immediately for Lithos or whatever the country's called, we have Lumera is so joyous, right? That Alir is awake. That she calls in. She invites other countries. Right? To celebrate the awakening of this divine dragon, right? Because it's not like it's a secret, right? That Alir was asleep, right? Of course that villain woman didn't know, which indicates that it is a secret. But if it is a secret, why do the princes and princesses of other countries know? And it's just it's a secret between royals. I don't expect. It's just from a logical standpoint, it's just why are they visiting Lithos? It's just they're gonna see the queen. Yeah, but why? To me, it's just if I was a villain looking at that, it would make sense to me that there is something more than, oh, hey, these royal children are visiting Lithos for more than just visiting the queen, right? That makes sense to me. Or maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. And then you meet Alfred and the gang, right? You meet Alfred and the gang, and because he travels, or he moves there first, or maybe he was doing something, right? Like, I think the way they explain it is that there was there Ferney getting invaded. I think that's what they were that's why Alfred showed up. Ferney was getting invaded. He came to ask help, right? He was already on his way, right? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? See, now that I have my writer's cap on, I know that this can work, but I don't think it's the best thing to do, right? So let's keep that for later, right? And instead, we have Lumera and Alir explore the city. Like, because you could say Lethos is a city-state, right? Or at least on the map it should be a city-state, right? How do I... It's a world map. Oh, side quest, okay. Zoom out. So yeah, so that island in the middle is Lethos, right? So you can say that Lethos is a city-state, because you don't see any, at least you don't see any other major villages on it, right? So I don't think it would be too much to say that Lethos is a city-state, right? I don't think it's too much of a stress to say that, or to think that, right? There we go. And so you could say that it's a city-state, and because it's a city-state, we could have Lumera and Alir exploring the city, and that's how they bond, right? You can have Alir be disgruntled that he doesn't remember the city. Right? Like, and he visibly shows this, right? Much more so when he saw Fram and Clan, right? Because this is a whole city that he does not remember, and so he should be more disgruntled about it, right? And so this could also this could help introduce the somnial mechanics, right? With the armor and the cafe and the training ground and whatnot, right? Because he could look at it and just be like, oh, this is a thing that this could happen, right? I want to finish this thought process before I end stream. And then we could have the whole celebration, right? Where, and then using in that celebration, Alir is just like, Alir is given the reins, right? And like he's celebrating his own, like he's given the reins of, hey, how do you want to plan your own celebration, right? And then as the player, because we are planning the celebration, right? That will help sort of get across that, hey, this is how the game is, where there'll be these large bouts of time and getting to know the characters before combat, right? And so since we're planning that own celebration, on that day, it's personalized, right? The celebration and the map is personalized. Like, the appearance of the map looks different based on what you selected for your own celebration that you planned, right? Right, of course it can be just like the same map and just looks different, but it still gives that air of, hey, this is now personal, because they ruined something you, the player, designed, right? And that's when that invasion happens, right? And instead of you fighting in a long corridor versus a bunch of enemies with no royal guards in sight, because you of course have guards, right? Because they're shown after the battle. They're shown that, hey, there are guards, right? Instead of that, you could be given command of a small militia force. Plus some trained soldiers, right? And so the trained soldiers would be blue units, right? Like, maybe you get, like, 1 or 2 of them, right? Like, maybe, like, an armor knight, like 2 or 3 armor knights as the trained soldiers, and then the militia forces are spearmen. Like regular lance soldiers, right? And so the lance soldiers are green units. And so what you can do is you could they bring back Fire Emblem 9 and Fire Emblem 10 unit commands. So for those of you who don't know, in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, your commander, aka in this game it would be Alir, could command allied units to do things, right? It's kind of like auto battle, but you could specify something. You could specify, hey, go to this tile. Hey, run away from the enemy. Hey, charge at the enemy. Hey, hold your position, right? You could specify those things, right? And so they could have easily implemented some basic commands like that for Alir and this small militia force for you to do that. You could give these small commands like, hey, play defensively. And by giving that small command, maybe they get like +3 defense and resistance or something like that. Oh, hey, play offensively. They get a small boost to their offensive stats, but then they lose those defensive stats, right? And it ends up being too much. Like I would say make it a defend map, but defend maps are inherently not amazing design, right? Because Because in other words, you could say, hey, sit around for 7 turns and do nothing, right? That's basically what a defend map is, right? Unless you have goals, right? So instead of defend, it's an escape map, right? Where you have to take this small militia force with the trained soldiers and escape, right? And then for each escaped militia or each escaped soldier, you are bringing civilians with them, right? With each survived unit, right? And then those civilians will be in Somniel. And that's where you get your blacksmith. That's where you get your thing. Like, and here's the thing, with the whole plan your own celebration, with the whole you explored the city with Lumera, you already know who these civilians are because you met them. You talked to them, you planned your celebration with them, and now you are saving them and putting them on the Somniel so that they can help you because it's personal for them now. Their homes were destroyed by this invasion, and now it's personal. And then that's when Alfred and the gang shows up, right? So it'll be a 2-part map. Because Alfred and the gang shows up because, you know, it's a celebration. He was invited, plus he was already on his way, right? Story-wise. Because I think he was on his way because his home was getting invaded by the corrupted, or the risen. So he shows up first. And that still makes sense, right? And he's like, and then, you know, you get introduced, and then the second part. And so the second part of the map, that's maybe when you're in that long corridor, maybe you're in the ring room, or whatever. The emblem room, or the emblem ring room, and you need to, quote-unquote, save Lumera, right? And it's not saving Lumera, you just have to reach her, right? Which is going to be another quote-unquote escape part of the map, right? But instead you're on a time limit, right? Because if Lumera reaches 0 HP, you lose, or something like that, right? Or maybe a thief reaches the vault, you lose, type of thing, right? This is also when you lose command of the temporary soldiers and militia. You fight, and then the whole scene with Lumera dying happens, where she saves Alir from whatever the hell was happening, and Alir, being a coward, is still there. He's still a coward, he's being again, Marth is there in person this time, so he's being supported by Marth this whole time. He's being supported by Fram and Clan because he knows he has to fight for them because they're his friends, right? Because you've gotten to know them at this point, right? And that's still a thing, right? And so when he's faced with a mage, which is something he hasn't fought before, he's scared, especially because he's alone. Because in that scene, Fram and Clan and Vander are nowhere to be found. Right? And then you get the Time Stone, right? But the thing about the Time Stone, to me, is that I don't want the Time Stone being introduced as like a very clear, oh hey, this is just a thing This is just the thing for you to have a mechanic of turning back time so you can redo turns without restarting the chapter, right? So I want it to have a narrative thing as well, because they showed in the cutscene that it dropped, right? Plus time travel is a very, very finicky thing, right? And so maybe, like with Byleth and Geralt, he turns back time then and there to save Lumera. And that's when the cracks start to form, right? Where I would say it depends on what would it depend on? Because there could be two ways this works, right? Where either Lumera is saved or Lumera is not saved. Because the whole thing with Byleth and Geralt is that when Byleth uses Divine Pulse to try to save Geralt, it doesn't work, right? Because someone teleports in and gives plot armor to Geralt dying. Spoilers, I guess, for Three Houses. Geralt dies. Who could have thought? Who would have figured that out? And so you could have that. You could have it based on whether you killed the enemy boss or not, right? Like, there's a boss fighting Lumera in the second part of the map, and depending on whether you killed that boss before you reach Lumera or not, that what helps this choice, right? On turning back time, where your player agency is that, did you kill the boss? Yes, good. That means you saved Lumera. If you didn't, then she still dies, because then the boss comes in to stop Alir from saving Lumera in the first place. Right? And then of course that's where it branches out, where in one sense, if Lumera is alive, the boss doesn't show up again, but if Lumera is dead, the boss shows up again, and there's this, again, it gets personal, it's a vendetta. Right? And you could also say that maybe because of all these small choices, all of these small choices are adding up. For example, back in Chapter 1, we have this perfect world. If you run from the fight and let Clan and Frem die, and then on top of Lumera dying, or maybe like on top of this, you could have Alir become legitimately evil. He becomes a legitimately bad person. Or maybe he falls into this deep depression because he thinks he's too weak to actually save anyone, right? And so then either way, we have our cloaked figure, right? As Alir is doing his thing, they smile, right? They smile because they planned it that Alir gets the time stone. They planned that, right? Otherwise, to me, it makes no sense that they would drop such a valuable item and leave it behind just so that we have a Milla's turn wheel. Or a Divine Pulse, right? And then that's where chapter 2 ends, right? And so it's just like, I would go into chapter 3 now, right? But it's just like, how do I go into chapter 3? I've already changed so much, is the thing, right? Because in chapter 3, we have 2 branching stories now, where Lumera's dead in one, and Lumera's alive in one. Because Lumera is a pretty substantial character. You'd take any reason for a turn wheel, to be honest, but the reason of, oh, the villain dropped this because they were clumsy is very weak for me. That is a very weak reason for me to get the turn wheel, right? I would rather have the villain do it on purpose, because that gives a substance to the story. But if the whole thing is that they dropped it like, oops, because they know what it is, right? Because if they don't, then they're just an idiot, which it doesn't seem like they are, right? Because the Time Stone should have a narrative role in the story other than, hey, we can turn back time for extra to redo our turns and actions. Because the thing is, when Vander talks about it as if he's talking about the weather, right? Like it's just a casual conversation for him when he's explaining it to Alir. And that's very jarring and very immersion breaking for me. And so it's just like, what we can do is, even if Lumera is alive, she can stay back. Because she can stay back in Lethos. And then lie to the world that she's dead. Like, she can tell Vander, she can tell Alir that, hey, and she can tell Alfred, just be like, hey, she's dead. Like, hey, I'm dead. Make sure you tell everyone that, including your own mother, or something like that, right? And the whole, hey, I've been transferring my power to you, is a real thing. That can still be a thing, that she's been transferring her power to Alir for 1,000 years. That can stay. And that's why she's staying back if she's alive in the game still after Chapter 2 ends. Because she literally cannot do anything now, right? Because she does not have that power. She gave that to Alir. And if she's dead, then the story doesn't change, right? And it's very possible that even Alfred doesn't have to know that she's dead. He doesn't have to be in the room. And then Chapter 3 is saving the village, right? Or is that Chapter 4? It's Chapter 4, because Chapter 2 is the training thing. Oh, right. Chapter 2 is when they just train with, What's-Her-Face and you learn about the ring. So I guess this is actually technically Chapter 3, not Chapter 4, Chapter 2. I just skipped a whole chapter because that chapter is just not important in the narrative. And then chapter 4, the whole save the village thing is fine. Like, the introduction to Saline and the gang is fine. Because you can't really take it slow anymore. Because, you know, it's getting invaded, right? The country's getting invaded. The after chapter interaction with the child can more or less stay the same. But I would have Alir be super suspicious of the child, right? I would have Alir be super suspicious because, again, he's pretending to have amnesia. He doesn't know who this person is. He needs to be on his guard, right? And then when he talks, and then when Marth appears and starts talking about it, that, hey, we should look closer into her, they turn around and she's gone. Like, that can stay the same. Just change it, tweak it very slightly type of thing, right? Alright. Civilians use. I just want to add this in for the record that the people that you have in the Somniel, the armor, the blacksmith, everyone, like people in Somniel, other civilians you saved in chapter 2 or in chapter 3. And so it's just like you can have them, instead of having Somniel be a castle, it's a town. And then, like, the monastery in Three Houses had other characters walking around. You can have the same thing for Somniel, where it's a town filled with the people you saved, right? Which is what I think they're going for, right? That's what they're doing. They're just doing it in a terrible way, at least in my opinion, because they're moved so fast with it, right? Because the thing is, when you explore Somniel for the first time, if everything is already there, you can get used to it immediately, right? But if you do the chapter and then 2 buildings get added, do the chapter, 2 buildings get added, that's very jarring because you already explored Somniel and now you have to explore it again and again, right? The reason the monastery worked is that the monastery was unchanging the whole time. The reason my castle worked in Fates was because you were the one changing it. You were the one adding the buildings. But in this, that's not how it works. It's just, you just get them. Right? And it's not super fluid. But in this way it would be a little bit more fluid because you already know the people because you saved them. You talked to them in chapter 3, right? So I wouldn't make too many changes to chapter 4, right? Because what's there to change about chapter 4? Nothing really, because it's just a basic save. It's just a basic defeat boss map with introducing some characters, and it doesn't have any major story beats other than, hey, there's this mysterious girl, right? Like, I feel like that's the only reason they had that chapter 4 in there, was to introduce more characters, and that's it. In chapter 5, however, chapter 5 you get introduced to the villain, at both the beginning and the end, because you hear the cloaked person talk and you have this new face, right? So one thing to note for both Alir and the player, the horns of the villain had blue and red ribbons or something. Now, of course, they're just blue and red ribbons, right? Or decorations, right? That's not genetical, of course, right? But it's just still something to note for Alir, right? Because Alir will have to notice it, because he could question, hey, why do I have nothing in common with my mother in terms of appearance? And then he comes across this random woman that he does not remember, does not ever remember meeting, does not know. Marth does not know her. Maybe Marth does know her, actually. Who knows? Because it seems to imply that that villain has known Lumera for a long time. Right? So for all we know, she's also over 1,000 years old. And so Marth could remember her, be like, hey, or Marth doesn't remember her, who knows, right? And Alir will take note of that, like, hey, why, out of everyone I've met, the only other person who has some type of red-blue color scheme in some way, shape, or form is this person, right? Whether it's genetical or not, right? Because you could use visual storytelling in Chapter 3 when you're exploring the city with Lumera, where you and Alir will point it out that, hey, I have red-blue, right? Like, if the Divine Dragon is so revered, surely the color scheme of the city should respect that to a sense, because that's how deity works, right? Deities work, or in some way, right? Or stereotypically, that's how they work in some way. But there's no red-blue color scheme, right? And so he can take note of that, and then in this, he takes note of it that, hey, this villain has that, right? You could also have it that the queen is thrown in the dungeon, or is, actually treated like a hostage. Rather than, oh, hey, she's just out in the open. Like what type of villain doesn't tie up their hostage, doesn't put them in a secluded area, etc., right? Like, that's just very off-putting to me, and it doesn't make logical sense to me. And then dual storytelling could be here, right? Where scouts or remnants of the army you defeated in Chapter 4 warn the villain. The boss of Chapter 5 says to surrender / hand over the ring, or the queen dies, while the female villain lies to the queen, says, hey, we have your kids, give us the ring or they die, right? And so of course the queen gives up the location, because she was already begging for them not to kill random people in her castle, right? I think she would give way if her children were threatened, right? We could have some character development for Alfred here, where he loses control and starts to fight, right? Like, he charges in because he doesn't want his mother to die, and he starts to fight without thinking about it, right? Alir, of course, is... I wouldn't say he's acting cowardly. He's still... But you could consider it cowardly. Because of the lack of information. Like, do they have the queen? Will they kill us if we surrender? So on and so forth, right? Because these are legitimate questions someone would ask. But Alfred, who would be angry, who's been keeping this facade of this perfect prince this whole time, that facade finally breaks when he finds out his family is in danger, right? Because that would give him depth. That would give him more dimensions than just, you know, the perfect prince, which is what it seems like, right? And then after the chapter ends, the boss is captured rather than killed. Alfred wants to kill the boss. Saline wants to let him go, right? Because I can see her saying, no, we shouldn't kill him, right? We should capture him or let him go. And then they look to Alir, because he's the divine dragon, on what to do. Whether he lives or dies. If he lives, because here's the thing, if he lives, it could go two ways. It comes back to bite them, or further down the line. Actually, that doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It could be an and or further down the line. He joins the party. And then if he dies, he dies, right? Giving more player agency, right? Because the thing is, if Alir lets him go, he could come back as an enemy later. He could do something that makes Alir angry, makes Alfred angry or something. And then down the line again, if you let him go again, or if he escapes, you could give him one last chance instead of killing him. And he could repent. He could try to become a better person, right? And you would inadvertently gain an ally for a late point in the story, right? Because the protagonists don't have to be the only people with character development. Villains can have character development too. They can become good. They can become more evil. They can repent. They can regret. They can have remorse. Right? I just had a thought. In chapter 4, like after chapter 3, we get what is essentially the battalion system from Three Houses, right? Except they're green units. And then that's where the command comes in. And so after every village or town or city you save, you get access to newer, either more powerful or different units. Like they could go full in on Ferney or whatever the country's called, having Pegasus Knights. And after you beat Chapter 5 or after you beat Chapter 5, you get access to Pegasus Knight units that are part of this battalion system, right? This is a game mechanic thing. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I'm talking about story-wise. Although it does help narrative-wise, because it shows that, you know, your army is growing. The people in the amount of Insomnial are growing, other than, you know, main characters, right? So it does have a narrative sense to it. And it could help this whole the Alir's character development in the sense that he has to become a strong leader, because as he continues on this journey, more and more people are looking up to him. And then if he dies, he dies. And they find out where the queen is. Villain escapes because they have because she has what she needs, plus because as the cloaked villain said, they lost their army, right? So she just retreats rather than, you know, fighting a small group of people, right, by herself. Like, she knows she's outmatched by numbers, even though, you know, one-on-one she might be good, or she might beat them all, right? Queen reveals she told location, and then that's when, and that helps give the story some weight, where, oh hey, we have to rush, rather than, oh hey, we can take our time because no one knows, type of thing, right? Alright, and now we're at chapter 6. Wow, that was wow, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. How do you guys like that? Can I turn off the... So I have a question. Why can't I just turn this off from the controller sense? I guess it doesn't matter too much, but I don't like it that it's on all the time. There we go. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate it. I really do. And I don't know when I'll stream next. I know I streamed 3 days in a row. What a shocker. I'm not used to doing that anymore. I want to try to stream tomorrow, but no promises, because I really want to continue Engage on stream. I don't want to play it off stream, even though I want to. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys hanging out, and I really, really do appreciate, you know, these thought-provoking conversations we have. I really do mean it when I say that I appreciate you guys hanging out and lurking, even though we don't chat much and we talk about dumb shit. Stay frosty.